Hey everyone, and welcome to the first or third episode of Lost Storytime. This will be the first one you heard. This will be the third one we recorded. We actually have a setup now, and we're not recording on one $20 microphone that picked up every background noise. I'm Claw.
And I'm Nona.
And we're married. And I am a failing or failed writer, depending on your description.
I think neither of those are true, but go ahead.
So what this podcast is going to be about is I will tell you stories that I have conceived and not ever plan on writing. And Nona will listen to them for the first time and comment on them.
Yep.
Along with everyone.
I will do so as nicely as possible.
And so this is the official intro. This is Law's Storytime. It is a Storytime podcast. So this one is actually a shout out for a friend who really loved one of the two books I wrote. Both very unsuccessful.
But you can find them on Amazon.
You can find them on Amazon. I believe they're under separate names. So in this, I'll go by Claw, but on that, it's Christopher Michael Law or Chris Law, I think, are the two that you can find it. And it is it's Jack, A Tale of Zombies, and Jesse, A Tragic Accident. Those are the two books. This story tonight is actually a request that I made for a friend. His name is Jay Money.
Ooh, Jay Money.
Ooh, Jay Money. Me and Jay Money are actually writing a movie now. Nothing about this. We'll talk about it when it becomes a thing. And until then, this is what we'll leave you with. I know that you devoured Jack, A Tale of Zombies. How many times did you read it?
Yep. That was a great book.
Yeah. You read it 0 times.
I read it at least halfway through once.
At least halfway through once. That's how good it is, folks. My wife got halfway through it once. It is admittedly poorly written. It's a great story, I think, but it is poorly written.
It was a great story, yes, I will give you that, but you probably should not have written it intoxicated.
Right, I wrote the whole thing drunk. I did not include chapters.
Yeah.
And so it's just a story that goes on and on and on. And like, I will go pee when I reach the chapter marker. But until then, no, don't do that. It is short though. It's only like 50,000 to 70,000 words, which I don't remember exactly how many it is, but a standard first-time novel is about 80,000 words. A Stephen King novel is about 300,000 words.
Ooh. Yeah,
so it's about a third of it. It's about, I'm not good at math. It's less than a third of a Stephen King novel. It's probably
awesome.
Shorter than a Stephen King short story, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah. It's no Twilight. I'll give you that.
It is no Twilight, that is true. But it's worth the read.
Yeah, or at least worth the 99 cents. So that story, before we get into this story tonight, it is about a guy who his best friend gets attacked by zombies. He shows up at the house and he goes to defend his friend, and he gets bit by zombies, and he doesn't get infected. So he's picked up by an underground organization to defend the world against zombies and to be this hero. And there's this whole underground group, and they go out and they fight zombies to prevent the zombie apocalypse.
Amazing. Zombie CIA?
Zombie CIA, I like to call it a pre-apocalyptic book, not a movie. It'd be weird to call it a pre-apocalyptic. Where can I find it? You can't. It's on Amazon. It's 99 cents. I don't remember the name I used when I put it on there. But this story, so we have one friend, Jay Money, and he loved it. He absolutely adored it, and he called me and he goes, "This is the best book I ever read." He still tells me it's his favorite book, and I tell him, "You haven't read enough books."
That may or may not be true.
So he asked me, he goes, "I need to know what happened. I need to know the follow-up." And so I was like, I can't. I'm not going back to it. I left it with an open ending because I don't want to go there anymore.
You didn't say you were doing a sequel.
I'm not going to do a sequel.
Okay.
But I did plan on writing a collection of short stories.
Right.
Pretty much what this podcast is. Short stories that might have been novels that I don't want to write, and I don't want to write them enough that I'm going to tell you about them.
Okay.
So let's start with this story. So in the book, every time that Jack gets mad, he sees the color red.
Ooh, red.
Yeah, red. And I thought it was a common trope. I thought it was a thing people said. Like, I'm seeing red, I'm so mad.
Yeah, I think I've heard that a time or two.
Yeah, apparently anyone who's read the book has not heard that.
I definitely have heard that.
So this story is called The Red.
Oh.
A Tale of Jack.
Dun, dun, dun.
A little quick aside, the story of Jack is so bad that
It's not.
when I let my friend read it the first time, his name is, we'll call him Cabo.
Okay.
He started editing it, and he told me I got to page 12 and ran out of my red pen.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. It has a couple of reviews on Amazon.
Yeah.
It has 3 reviews last time I checked.
I think one was from your mom?
One was from my mom. So I got 2 5s.
Yeah.
And I don't know who those are from. But I did get a 4, and that was from my mom. Whose quote was something like, I could not ignore all the mistakes. She told me at some point I had changed the name of the main character for what would be a chapter.
Yeah, I do remember reading that chapter.
Yeah, and that was because the main character's name started as something different, and I guess it just stayed that way in my head.
Yeah.
So I know I've convinced the listeners to buy the book now.
Absolutely. They already have it. They've downloaded it.
They've already downloaded it. They're going to read it. They're going to be like, who the fuck is Steve? And why is he in Jack's story? Steve is Jack, and that's why he's there.
Okay.
It was what his uncle called him. It's what his neighbor... You just don't know Jack well enough to call him Steve. No, that's not true. That's just a mistake on my part. So this is the follow-up to Jack's story for J Money. And
Okay.
I will admit, this is probably not a great one to start the podcast with, because it is one of the least thought-out stories that I have in my arsenal.
Oh, boy.
But I have been writing this movie with J Money. We've been talking more regularly. And he asked me when the follow-up was going to come. I told him, next time we do a podcast, I'll give you the follow-up.
Okay, so here we are.
So here it is. Here's the follow-up to a story that wasn't very good and a story that's not very thought out.
All right, let's hear it.
So this will be more or less giving you a story that I never was going to write, and more the brainstorming session of the story that could have been. Their boss, who in the book is just called The Boss.
Oh, the boss. Okay.
He's called The Boss because he is the boss.
Mm-hmm.
But him and his partner, when they start, they're the ones who started the zombie thing. And it's all about a drug that creates zombies, but they started it. And what they do is they actually go out and, in the, I want to say 70s, but that doesn't feel right. It should be like the early 2000s. It should be when I was graduating high school.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. So they're in the early 2000s, 2005 to 10.
Okay.
But they still act like 1970s sitcom, not sitcom, but 1970 procedural cops. Does that make sense?
Okay.
We don't play by the rules. That's the.
I wrote the rules.
I wrote the rules. They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What they do is they go out and there's this big story about the boss and his partner, who I don't remember his name. We'll call him Curtis.
Okay.
So let's do a one-syllable name. How about King?
Okay.
The boss and the king, they go out and I think the boss was a shotgun and the king was a bat. And their reasoning was this is what you fight zombies. We've seen all the movies. This is what you fight zombies with. You either have a bat or you have a shotgun.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So they go out with their chosen weapons, and long story short, the king gets bit, and he turns into a zombie, and the boss shoots him in the fucking face.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. I believe abbreviated that's STFF.
Okay.
No, SITFF. Yeah, that stiff. That's stiff.
Stiff. Okay. Yeah.
That's a stiff. So whenever you're watching these procedurals now and they say, "Oh, you brought us a stiff," now you know what that actually means.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
a shot in the fucking face. That's not even right. It's not a stiff. That'd be sit. Yeah.
Stiff.
Yeah. We're gonna call it a stiff though. We're gonna pretend like we're dyslexic.
We could just
a little
forget
bit.
about the V. It's fine.
Yeah. V.
The THE.
V. I was like, there's no V.
I
Shot.
don't know how to spell.
Shot in the very fucking face.
Okay. Anyway. So what
Actually,
happened?
It should probably
Okay.
be very shot in the fucking face. Okay, so what happens is, so they go out and he gets bit. So the follow up was going to be at the end of the story, right? It's a terrible ending. The guy who gets bit, they cure him. Like the last sentence is like,
Yay,
yeah, but literally it's like the last sentence. It's like, and he was fine. And that was me going, I'm not doing this anymore. I hate this story.
Abrupt end.
Yeah,
Okay.
You know, it's a 1-page wind down, which is what you really want to see. It's the equivalent of in a movie that's very emotional, having just the text that come up is like, and everyone was okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So that's it. They have a big fight, but the story was done, and so J Money was like, "Can you write some more for me?" And no, I can't. I finished the story. I don't want to.
I am done.
But then I thought, if J Money wants it and he really likes this story, maybe I can do something. So the story was going to be the boss and the king and some of their adventures. So kind of a prequel.
Oh, okay.
So this would be before the zombie killing people are a department and back when they're just a unit.
Oh, okay.
You know, they're the cold case unit of drug-induced zombie murder.
Cool.
It would just be one story, and I think it has to be a good story. This is kind of the brainstorming part. So actually, I'm going to get you more involved here.
Oh boy.
You probably will be. This is not a complete story, so let's bounce some ideas off each other.
I'll do my best. I was never really good at making up stories.
So we got the guy with the shotgun, the guy with the bat.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with what situation are they going to be in? And I think the situation for a spin-off prequel, it needs to be kind of a humorous place.
Okay.
Like an abnormal place. Like an old person home.
Okay.
Which makes sense for the story. It's an Alzheimer's drug that causes the zombies. So
yeah,
it would make sense it's an old person's home.
Absolutely.
So then you're at an old person's home. And if you want to think about this, kind of like when you see a sitcom and they have something just completely out of the normal, and they're like, "This is not canon. This is just some like the Treehouse of Horror with The Simpsons."
Yeah.
That's kind of what this would be.
Okay.
And so let's say that they're at an old person's home, and I want to say it's going to be like a gym day,
Ooh.
or like a dance.
Okay. I
How
can
about-
behind that.
Yeah, how about a 50-year-old prom?
Yeah, nice little sock hop.
Yeah,
Okay.
not that they're 50.
Yeah.
That their prom was 50 years ago.
Right. Okay.
So a bunch of old people listening to music that was recorded before black people could vote.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's just facts. It's just
yeah.
history.
Yeah.
So they're sitting there and dancing and grooving. And
Shaking them things.
yeah, shaking them artificial plastic hips.
Okay.
I would like to say that the DJ there would probably be a younger person, like a hipsterish type who's like, I can only get into Ella Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Right. If it's not Chuck Berry, I'm not grooving to it. So they're he's spinning the records, and it would have to be that one of the people have the Alzheimer's medicine.
Right.
And
It has to be introduced somewhere.
right. And so what would happen then would be let's give him a name. All right, give him a name quick.
Ben.
All right, so Ben is the Alzheimer's patient, and he takes his medicine.
Oh, Grandpa Ben.
Grandpa Ben. Yep. He actually, it's weird. He has a nephew named Peter. And once Ben dies, New York is saved by Spider-Man. No, that's not. That would be totally copyright infringement. We can't do that. Great story though.
Yes, absolutely.
So Ben takes his medicine and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck tonight.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's prom.
Yeah.
Everybody
got his mojo
knows.
back. Okay.
Everyone knows you go fuck after prom.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So it's just imagine the cutest scene. So
yeah.
all the old people are in suits that are made for teenagers, and all the
with like ruffles and stuff.
with the ruffles, and the women are in prom
Big
dresses,
poofy shoulders.
big poofy shoulders.
I love it.
Because 50 years ago was the 70s.
That was the
So-
thing. Okay. Yeah.
So they're all and teased up hair, what hair they got left, and they're out dancing. And Ben's like,
Here they go.
"Hey, I need a lady's name."
Linda.
So Ben's like, "Linda, want to dance?" And Linda's like, "I thought
You'd never ask.
you'd never ask." And so they
You go, Linda.
they go out and they start dancing. And Ben's like, "You know what? I'm going to bite you."
What?
Yeah, he doesn't say that. He just does it.
This escalated quickly.
You're right. It's a zombie story, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Getting serious on the dance floor.
Yeah, typically, in my opinion, people don't like a lot of build-up to zombies. They're just like, where are the zombies?
That's a good point.
So Ben goes out, buys Linda, and now they're both infected. And then Linda actually turns out to be the belle of the prom.
Amazing.
And so she keeps getting asked to dance.
Oh, so what is the typical incubation period? So it had to have been like, what, an hour?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Let's just say...
so by the time she gets crowned, she's trying to eat everybody?
That's right. I did
Okay.
a lot of thinking about the story.
Uh-huh.
The science behind it.
Okay.
Not a lot of thinking of the story.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the incubation period, let's say an hour,
Yeah.
or else they'd have a really long prom. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just maybe it's a dance till you drop kind of thing.
Sounds like a bad idea given the circumstances, but
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, good way to weed them out.
But so Ben and Linda then start going around. It definitely, so most of the stories happen because it's an Alzheimer's drug. Most of the people are infected. They have to be infected by usually an older person. But it's no fun to have older zombies running around, so they're very non-threatening. The elderly are very non-threatening, so that's why they
Okay.
make a perfect zombie. Is people, you see an old man fall down, you help pick him up,
Right,
and he
right.
bites you in the neck, and now you're a zombie.
No. Okay.
So let's say all the grandkids are there too.
So it's like a big family night.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it all starts going off, where now there's just a ton of people infected.
Mm. Okay.
Then the king and the boss show up.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, we got a score to settle." And what happens is they don't just show up and start shooting people. They don't start stiffing people.
Okay.
Stiffing. They're not start hitting people in the face with bats. They actually go and they start investigating, and they find in Ben's room that he's taking this drug that I don't remember the name of.
So they just ignore all the carnage and they just go to his room.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So they just let everybody do their thing.
That doesn't make sense, does it? No, they would have to know. Somehow, someone would have to let them know to come here.
Right, yeah. So who called them?
Let's say there's a radio DJ
Okay.
who's there. Let's say the DJ is also a radio DJ. They're doing it live on an 88.1.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay.
something real low on the FM dial. So there's not a lot of people listening, but it gets picked up by the cops.
Yeah. Okay. So he lets them know what's going on.
Right, and they
Okay.
show up. They get there, and they do their thing. They find all the zombies, and everyone's infected now. So in the book, there's a 25% infection rate. But let's just say, for the sake of this short story, that everyone's infected,
Okay.
and they kill everyone.
Okay.
And there's a point in the book where, I mean, yeah, there's zombies, but they don't really look like zombies. They're not decaying flesh. They look like people who are aggressively attacking other people.
Do they look sick at all, or they just look normal and they're
No.
just aggressive?
They just look normal and they're aggressive.
Okay.
And so,
Sneaky.
yeah, and well, it takes a toll on their psyche.
Mm.
I'm kind of wrapping that up a little short because I remembered what the point of this whole story was. Now that we're 20 minutes into it,
Okay. Okay.
so they kill everyone in there and they leave.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the big thing in the book is they're an underground.
Oh, right.
group.
So they can't let anybody know.
Right. So they just murdered an old folks home. They killed everyone. They shotgun and bludgeon. So it's a mass murder. Right?
Yeah.
Let's say there's, I don't know, 22 people in there.
Okay.
And so it doesn't matter, but they kill them all.
It's just a lot of people dead.
Yeah. The
Okay.
people who weren't infected, they got them pulled aside and they said, hey, you can tell anybody you want. No one's going to believe you. Right. Were you bit? Were you bit? You know, that kind of thing.
Okay. Okay.
And then they leave and they're driving out. And now those people have called the cops.
Oh, right. Of course.
Right. And the people get the boss and the king get pulled over.
Ooh.
And the cop goes, we've heard some shit.
Oh, no.
And what they do is the boss pulls out a business card.
Oh, okay. Real
know-
fancy like.
Yeah, no.
Oh. Okay.
This would need to come at the beginning of the story. And this is the brainstorming thing. When Ollie figured out the end, this should have been mentioned at the beginning.
Oh.
But he gets let's say they're at a mattress store, and I need a name.
I don't know.
Jessica at the mattress store is like, here's my card. And while they were, just hanging out there,
Yeah.
doing whatever, investigating something.
Just jumping on mattresses.
Yeah, just jumping up and down on mattresses.
Okay.
The king starts coloring with a Sharpie the card. Just both sides, completely black. And
Huh.
then the boss was like, what the hell is that? And then
Yeah.
he's like, I don't know, I was bored.
Okay.
And so then the boss was like, well, let me see it. And he starts whiting out, and he's putting numbers white out on the card.
Mm-hmm.
And then that number is actually their number that they get out of jail card. It's a
No.
get out of jail free
Oh,
card.
come on.
Yeah, well, that's actually in the book.
Okay. Okay.
So this would be the origin story of the black card.
Okay.
That's what the whole intent was.
So they're playing a black card right now?
They're
Being pulled over by the
literally-
police and they're literally playing a black
They're
card.
literally playing the black card.
Okay.
Yeah, you took it there.
I mean, you said it.
So that's it. That's not well thought out. That's not a great story. I hope that people will tune in next time for at least to see.
Wait. What?
That's it. That's the whole story. It's the origin of the black card.
So they get pulled over and the cops let them go because they have this black card, and then
Well, it has a phone number on it, so the cop calls the phone number.
okay.
And basically, it's like, hey, you let them go. I'm not going to let them go. They killed 22 people.
Right.
No. You should let them go,
Or it'll be your ass.
or, we're going to shoot you in the fucking face.
Oh.
Like, this is...
We're
Like,
gonna stiff you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to stiff you.
Okay.
Because...
And then, so then what? They drive away, and then that starts up.
Well, they probably get arrested. They call the cops call, and then they get away. And
Okay.
then from there, it was the origin of the black card. That was the whole point of the story. Now, that we almost finished it. It
Okay.
came back to me why I put that note down as a short story to write.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it.
So then where do they pick up at Jack? So they start kind of the organization, and then eventually Jack is recruited?
Yeah, so then they start the
Okay.
organization, and then from there, this is all, I'm pretty sure this is all in the book, but it kind of goes into the boss's like breakdown, how it all started. But
His backstory.
yeah,
Oh, I love a good backstory.
everyone loves a good back. Baby got backstory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
So, yeah, so it's they start it, but then eventually they start like a whole science division to try to cure it. They bring in more people to help
Okay.
cull it.
Okay.
If you had gotten through more than half the book, this would have been
this
in
is
there.
true. Yeah, I would know these things.
Also, none of these people who are listening. Well, I guess probably the first one. Probably the first one. Everyone who's listening has heard of the book at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think we're going to be going out. I don't think we're going to be huge in Australia right now.
Hey, you never know.
I don't know, because they got a weird. They're one of their biggest podcasts is an American history podcast in Australia
Did you just alienate a whole country?
and a continent. So you take that. I would say, you know what?
We love you. Don't listen to him.
You know what? If you ain't in Antarctica, you ain't shit.
Oh, okay. Wow.
There you go. The least populated country in the world. That's our target audience.
Okay.
So anyway, that is it. Speaking of Black Card, J Money, that's for you. I will talk to you Saturday, and I hope that this will crush your craving for more Jack stories.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's not a world that I care to revisit again. I think this is a good 3-1 podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a third first.
Yeah. I think this one has gone considerably, much better than the first two.
I think so.
So I think we're getting the hang of it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And we just definitely sound much better. So.
Yeah, and we'll never release those first two.
Well, maybe.
But we might re-record them once you've forgotten the story. Do you remember what they were?
Kind of.
Oh, well then, yeah, until you go, I don't.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So,
I seem to remember something about a peanut allergy.
well, you remember more than I do.
No, okay.
So, we have an email address, and it is
lawstorytime@gmail.com.
we don't have a website.
But we are on Instagram at lawstorytime.
And
And
that is it. I'm not the social media expert.
yeah, that's pretty much it for now. We'll probably branch out later, but this was fun, and I think it was an interesting short story. I think it definitely could have dove a little bit deeper into the story, and I think that you could write it into something really cool, but that's up to you.
But I never will.
Okay, well,
All
I'm
right.
not gonna write it, so
Well, we'll be back in 2 weeks because next week we're recording your podcast, which is
the Skin Chat podcast with SD Nona.
And until then, keep your stories in mind or put them on paper. Thanks for listening, everybody.